Good morning, Canada. Glad you could join us. I'm meteorologist Nicole Karkic. Here's your developing stories. We are updating watches and warnings across the country. There's a snowfall forecast for some of you, others driving through clear, sunny conditions. And Mike and Mark's adventure continues. They've been in Calgary, Saskatoon, Winnipeg. Where are they next? We'll tell you coming up in a moment. Cloud tops across the country. There is a system moving on shore through BC as we head later into the afternoon. Across the prairies, fairly quiet. But for you in the east, there is a system we're watching moving into Newfoundland, an extreme cold warning in place. Anything indicated in purple, this will be close to the minus 40s with the wind chill. But we do have a snow squall watch in place as well, Val d'Or included. Just as the day goes on, there will be a cold front swinging through, and that could create some whiteout conditions at times while traveling in the area. It's sort of like snow squalls. They can come very quickly and make visibility next to nothing. Now this morning, Montreal, you're minus 19, feeling closer to minus 24 in Gatineau with the wind chill, and by the afternoon, Montreal minus 8, not doing too bad, feeling closer to minus 13. And for you in Newfoundland, I do want to mention that by the end of the day, we're seeing snow moving into the Avalon Peninsula. St. John's could pick up 5 centimeters. Now, this is where Mike and Mark have been for tonight. Let's check in with them. Thanks for joining us. I'm meteorologist Nicole Karkic. Looking across the country, where's our active weather? Well, where we see this low pressure system moving in, southern Ontario, northern Ontario, getting snow for you this afternoon. And for Atlantic Canada, we do have a special weather statement in place for the Avalon Peninsula, including St. John's, for snow tonight. I'm sure the adults and the kids especially remember that one. For the blowing snow this afternoon, it's going to be in the southern Avalon. We can see gusts reaching up to 100 kilometers an hour. Generally, that's going to have an easterly flow as well, and the winds will be strong right through the overnight. Looking at this morning, we've got clear conditions in the Maritimes. There's that increasing cloud cover in Newfoundland. I'll let you see what's going on here. There's that moisture coming through, just clipping the Avalon. St. John's likely seeing 5 centimeters, could get a little bit more in the south, and then it makes its way through in the overnight, but then we've got to worry about you in the Maritimes. We've got overnight into Friday morning, snow changing over to rain for Nova Scotia, and generally it's going to be snow in through New Brunswick. Could see some mixing at times, however, and then some strong winds for the Maritime provinces heading into Friday. So it's a bit of a messy end to the week. We don't have any watches or warnings for the Maritimes for this. Look, generally the numbers aren't too bad, under 5 centimeters across Nova Scotia, a bit more in through northern New Brunswick around Edmundston. You could see 5 to 10 centimeters of snow. And for Labrador, this is all snow for you. It'll be blowing around as well. Montreal this afternoon, you'll be minus 9 with winds sustained at 10 kilometers an hour. For you this afternoon in Montreal, it feels like minus 13 with the wind chill. Quebec City feels like minus 15, but in Quebec still cold enough that we have extreme cold warnings in place through central parts of the province. But around Val d'Or this afternoon, as a cold front swings through, we will be seeing some reduced visibility at times with the blowing and drifting snow. Then as we get into this evening, snow continues in Montreal and Quebec. Montreal picking up under 5 centimeters of snow through this event. And this morning in Ontario, Toronto, minus 10. Now we have snow moving through Ontario, which is a bit of an Alberta clipper system. Here's the science behind that.
Set a new temperature record, minus 36.7, broke the old record of minus 36.1 back in 1962. And this just wasn't for January 14th. This was the coldest recorded temperature in 75 years at the airport. Wow.
75 years.
Holy
wow.
moly.
We can't remember that. We're too young.
Minus 9 is the forecast high today in Quebec City.
Not doing too bad. Much warmer conditions.
In the morning, but temperatures are falling through the day, so they may actually fall back to minus 12. But just a couple hours ago, it was around 0, but temperatures are falling. But take a look at some of the milder air. So we broke some temperature records. Carmen, Manitoba, birthplace of Ed Belfour, of course. Swan River, Dauphin, Melfort, Saskatchewan, Meadow Lake. I know they're not plus 10 like Calgary.
No, not too bad.
But record warmth.
Yeah, and compared to last week, that's a huge improvement.
Yes.
Snow through to Friday. We're going to see just a trace in southern Manitoba, a little bit more as we head into northern Saskatchewan with up to 20 centimeters of snow.
Potential risk of some freezing rain.
So that was when Mel Lastman called in the Army, and it happened around this week, 16 years ago. How much snow? 118 centimeters. Did it warrant the Army, Chris?
The debate is still out on that one for sure. A lot of people saying no, but some people said yes. It was a 2-week period, and really there wasn't much snow before, and there wasn't a whole lot of snow after. So you got all of winter in those 2 weeks.
That's right. And for us, we are getting a little winter tonight. A trace amount for the Greater Toronto region, a little bit more through cottage country, and then the lake effect engine sets up for Friday morning.
We'll have to watch that. By the way, guess who's there today?
We have Mike and Mark there. They've been on quite an adventure traveling across the country. So Thunder Bay this morning, we'll check in with them. Also, we're going to head to Southern Ontario where Kasha Badurka is. Stay with us. Thanks for joining us. I'm meteorologist Nicole Karkic. Updated watches and warnings across the country. We've got a snowfall forecast for you in Atlantic Canada, a blowing snow advisory as well. And Mike and Mark's adventure continues. Where are they today? We'll tell you coming up in a moment. Now, across the country, we do have some high cloud tops indicating our coldest clouds, so indicative of a system moving in. That's going on in BC. We've got snow moving into Ontario for today. And then this low we're watching for Newfoundland, which will move some snow into the Avalon Peninsula for this afternoon. In Quebec, problem is we've got the cold air in place, and this right here down towards Val d'Or is a snow squall watch. Highway 17, that is going to change for today with the snow squalls. Also some snow moving into Montreal for your afternoon. Now Montreal's minus 19 this morning, Quebec City's minus 21, but as we head into the afternoon, minus 8 for Montreal. The snow will start to pick up, and by the end of the day, you'll see about 5 centimeters of snow. Now, moving to Atlantic Canada, we do have the Maritime provinces free and clear for the afternoon. Can't say the same about Newfoundland. Just in the Avalon, particularly the south, we'll be seeing some strong winds. Note the flow out of the east. It's going to be blowing all the snow around, not in St. John's, but the southern Avalon will be worse. And then for the Maritimes, you're going to see a system moving through tonight. Here's the blowing snow advisory in place, gusts up to 100 kilometers an hour, and the snowfall forecast not prompting any warnings in the Maritimes, but starting off as snow in Nova Scotia, changing over to rain. Well, let's head out to Southern Ontario right now, where Kasha Badurka is joining us. Kasha, where are you on your adventure today? Thanks, Kasha. So here are your temperatures this morning. Let's find out where Mike and Mark are today. That's right. It's time for you to share your weather. Use the hashtag share your weather if you're sending me or the Weather Network any photos. Now, this was sent to me just yesterday. This is in Holyrood, Newfoundland, and you can see a beautiful picturesque scene. And this was Anthony Power who sent it to me. Now, here is your personalized forecast, because this is what share your weather is all about. For the afternoon, minus 2 for the daytime high. We're going to see some north winds sustained at 20 kilometers an hour. And as we head into the overnight, yes, we're going to see some evening snow, about 1 centimeter of snow, and then a lot more on Saturday where you could get 5 to 10 centimeters. So this is my profile on Twitter at Nicole Karkic. Send me your photos, and then you'll get a personalized forecast on our national morning show. So tune in tomorrow for that. I had to include this. This was on our website, theweathernetwork.com. I mean, absolutely adorable. This is in Nanaimo, British Columbia. Another one here. Speaking of Nanaimo and BC, this is Vancouver, the fog that we saw yesterday. And let me show you the city of Calgary. I'm showing you these two cities because often when we talk about Alberta and British Columbia, we look at the mountains and we think, who has the best skiing, British Columbia or Alberta? Well, Deb Mediachka finds out. Thanks for joining us. I'm meteorologist Nicole Karkic. Canada, let's go across the country. Here's your weather. We've got a system moving into BC. Rain tonight for the lower mainland. Across the prairie provinces, we have some snow for southern Manitoba and Saskatchewan. And for Ontario, we'll talk about who's seeing snow today. There is a snow squall watch in place for the north. And for Atlantic Canada, places like the Avalon Peninsula in the south, seeing some blowing and drifting snow this afternoon. St. John's, you're getting about 5 centimeters of snow. This morning, no snow. In Toronto, we're minus 10, feeling close to minus 17. So a chilly morning. And Kasha Badurka is joining us right now in the Greater Toronto region. Thanks, Kasha. So keep warm. Also, beware of this. We have some snow moving in later this afternoon for cottage country in the Nickel Belt. But right now around Wawa, we do have some snow squalls for you. So this morning we've got the right winds is creating some whiteout conditions there. Timmins seeing snow this afternoon. Then notice this cold front. That's the blue line sinking south towards the Nickel Belt, cottage country as well. And we're going to see places like Toronto getting some snow through the overnight. So that's that system right there coming on through. Temperatures in this morning, minus 18 in the city of Ottawa, and we'll take you through this again. We've got the snow moving through. Really, it's going to come through later in the afternoon for the Greater Toronto Region, swinging to Ottawa as well as Montreal. And as far as how much we're getting, it's really not too bad. We're talking trace in the Greater Toronto Region, but yes, it could be blowing around for the Bruce Peninsula as well as towards Cottage Country, Collingwood, towards Kingston, under 5 centimeters as well for you. And then for Friday morning, what sets up is some lake effect for places like the Bruce Peninsula, again, Kincardine, Goderich, Collingwood too. Now, this is what we're seeing through Wawa as well as Timmins, where there are snow squall watches and warnings in place. Through to Friday, we could be getting up to 5 to 10 centimeters of snow, and Quebec also seeing some snow and some squalls today. Look at this, minus 5 in the morning. Usually your daytime high is closer to about minus 11, so that's some perspective. Wawa's minus 6, and as we head into the next couple of days, we're following Mike and Mark on their excellent adventure across the country. Nicole and Chris with you. A few stories we're following for our Canadian viewers. We've got updating watches and warnings.
Yeah, feeling like the minus 50s in communities in Nunavut. Today's snowfall forecast, and there's going to be some squalls. Not lake effect snow squalls, but frontal squalls. We'll talk about that.
That's right. And Mike and Mark continue their adventure. We'll tell you where they will be next. But let's first look across the country. Anytime you see these colors indicating our coldest, highest clouds. So following generally systems, BC, we've got some rain moving in tonight.
That's right.
Freezing rain tonight, potentially in parts of Alberta, near Calgary, and towards the east. Snow on the horizon.
Keeping a close eye on one in Newfoundland as well. But let's begin. It looks like a Canadian winter scene.
It does, and it feels like one, Chris,
yes,
because outside, yesterday was cold in Quebec, and we've got the extreme cold warning here in purple. This is an overlap of snow squalls and the extreme cold.
Yeah, this map, unfortunately, is missing what's also, the watch has been extended to include Timmins, New Liskeard, and North Bay in the snow squall watch. This is going to be late afternoon into the evening hours. So Highway 11 in Ontario, Highway 117 in Quebec. Watch out. It's not blizzard criteria, Nicole, but it is going to be almost blizzard-like for a little while.
Exactly. Okay. So for a couple of hours into the afternoon. Montreal also seeing snow, not in a snow squall watch, under 5 centimeters for you. Minus 8 for the afternoon, feeling closer to minus 13. Not doing too bad.
That's right.
It's all relative, but Quebec City's minus 15 with the wind chill. And as we jump ahead to what's happening in the east, Chris, let's follow this system.
Yeah, calling this one more of a skimmer than a slammer, but it is going to impact the Avalon Peninsula, about 5 centimeters for St. John's, 10 or a little more further south. But the wind picks up tonight, and you're going to see some blowing snow. And then the next real main area of concern will likely be Monday, Nicole, where we could see a potent storm system coming to Atlantic Canada.
That's right. And again, back to Quebec here, we've got Mont Tremblant feeling closer to minus 13.
Yes.
And let's follow what's happening in the Maritimes, Chris, because for the afternoon, increasing cloud cover. And then this isn't a big system prompting watches or warnings, but snow changing terrain for Nova Scotia. Good morning. So across the country, here's a few top stories we're looking at. For you in Atlantic Canada, there is a low pressure system moving in, particularly for Newfoundland tonight. The Avalon Peninsula in the south has a blowing snow advisory in place. Moving to Ontario, we're already seeing snow around Wawa and Timmins. That front will sink south and bring some snow into the Nickel Belt, Cottage Country, Toronto, Ottawa, and extend to Montreal. And across the prairies, pretty quiet until we get to BC, where we do have some rain moving in tonight, up to 40 millimeters for the lower mainland. So that's a quick snapshot. Let's zoom into Ontario here with temperatures this morning are below average. We'll head outside to Kasia Badurka, who's feeling the chill in southern Ontario. Tell us where you are, Kasia.
Yeah.
Thanks, Kasia. And it won't just be the cold. We're going to add on some snow for you today. So here's that cold front. This is the blue line, which has prompted warnings for Timmins and Kirkland Lake for snow later this evening with reduced visibility. Sinks down to the Nickel Belt, comes to the Greater Toronto Region this evening, likely after that rush hour commute, and head to Ottawa, Montreal. Right behind it, we've got high pressure zooming in. So overall, not too much snow, not too bad. We've got a trace amount for the Toronto, Hamilton, Niagara region over towards Kingston. Could see a little bit more, and notice just off the shores of Georgian Bay, we could see a little bit more coming in. What happens on Friday is that the lake effect engine sets up again with some northwesterly winds. So Friday morning, we could be seeing places like the Niagara region, Kincardine, Goderich, and over towards Collingwood, getting some bands that will be pretty fierce through the day. But for now, this is the cold front bringing some snow around Wawa, Kapuskasing, Timmins again in that snow squall watch. And through Friday, we're likely seeing 5 to 10 centimeters in the hardest hit areas. Quebec also has a snow squall watch in place for the potential of areas like Highway 117. See how the weather looks and talk about where they're headed next. And this morning in Thunder Bay, you're -5. You're really not too bad for this time of year. That's above average, especially for a morning temperature. And this has been the journey that Mike and Mark have been on. We've been following them this week as they head to Thunder Bay for today. So we'll check in with them later. And Montreal, nice little forecast for you this morning. We've got the sunshine, -20, snow by the afternoon. Thanks for joining us. Nicole Karkic here with Chris Murphy, and a few stories we're following are the watches and warnings across the country, but some of you are looking free and clear.
All right, yes, wind chills, blizzards, and snow squalls. Oh my, today's snowfall forecast, and we are also going to tee up a potential big storm for early next week.
We'll tell you all about that, and Mike and Mark's adventure continues. We'll tell you where they're heading next, and looking right across the country, our coldest air is in the north, of course, but still cold in southern Ontario, where we find Kasia Badurka. Kasia has more in Scarborough. Thanks, Kasia. And speaking of cold, look at these temperatures, Chris, in the north.
Yeah, core temperatures in white, wind chills in blue. Look at Yellowknife around -30, feeling like -41. Baker Lake feeling like -50, and Rankin Inlet feeling like -53. That means frostbite in less than 5 minutes. Very, very important.
And cold in central Quebec, we do have the extreme cold warning in the purple. And then as we get to these lighter shades of gray, this is where a cold front will swing through and create some squalls. Val-d'Or over towards Timmins and Kirkland Lake.
Absolutely. Afternoon into the evening, so there could be some brief periods of very, very poor visibility. Highway 11 in Ontario and Highway 117 in Quebec, probably two of the main arteries. This afternoon, Gatineau -7, -8 in Montreal, -10 in Quebec City.
And moving to the east, not too bad. Halifax, -2 this afternoon, but feeling close to -7 with the wind chill. St. John's feeling close to -5, but for St. John's and the Avalon Peninsula, a blowing snow advisory. It really begins for you after the dinner hour for St. John's, but the southern Avalon winds gusting up to 80 kilometers an hour. And then on the horizon, this system.
Yeah, a little bit of snow initially in Nova Scotia and then changing over to some rain showers. But keep in mind, with this cold front moving through, daytime highs in Halifax will likely be early day, and then temperatures will drop. Certainly by the evening, temperatures will drop through the day in New Brunswick. But that's the small potatoes. The bigger storm is likely early next week. We'll get to that momentarily.
That's right. So blowing snow advisories with the southern Avalon seeing the most, up to 15 centimeters. Notice that, not too bad in through the Maritimes. There's no watches or warnings for this. But again, as we look to the horizon, it's Sunday night into Monday that you in the east, even towards Ottawa, will see the worst of it.
All right. Well, it's another cold start. We heard from Kasia Badurka, -10 this morning in Toronto, -12 in Kingston. As we look at your afternoon conditions, we'll see that it's going to be primarily a below seasonal day, but a cold front is coming through. Watch for the development of lake effect snow overnight or early tomorrow morning off Lake Huron and Georgian Bay.
And so that's not all too bad, but Chris, this looks like it could be way worse.
All right. So we've got cold high pressure coming in from northern Ontario, and that's going to help charge up a developing moisture-laden storm from the east, and this could impact areas as far west of Ottawa with heavy snow.
So for Friday afternoon, we're going to see rain moving into Halifax. Not too bad at 2 degrees, but -13 in Ottawa. That's a different story. -19 in Winnipeg. And for Calgary, a messy mix moving through for Friday. Want to get away from it all? How about Bahamas? Nassau getting up to 27 degrees on Friday. We will see some variable clouds. Over towards Miami, seeing a mix of sun and cloud. The daytime high there for Friday, 23, and Freeport getting up to 26. Thanks for joining us, meteorologist Nicole Karkic. As we look across the country, we do have a system moving into BC. We'll get some rain for the lower mainland. Prairie is getting some snow, not too much for places like Winnipeg or central Saskatchewan. And for Atlantic Canada, there is a blowing snow advisory in place for you in the southern Avalon this afternoon into the overnight. Gusts will reach 80 kilometers an hour, and snow for St. John's. St. John's likely about 5 to 8 centimeters. And there's snow moving through Ontario right now. But let's first talk about temperatures and how cold it has been this week in parts of the Greater Toronto region. Kasia Badurka joining us live right now with that story. Thanks, Kasia. So it is still cold, warmer than yesterday, but definitely if you're out there for too long, it would be dangerous. This morning, Toronto feeling close to -17, Ottawa feeling close to -24 for you, Windsor -20 with the wind chill out there. And we are seeing a system dropping some snow. Already it's around Wawa, moving into Timmins by the afternoon. And along this cold front, there is a snow squall watch in place for Kirkland Lake, Timmins as well. And then it swings south towards the Nickel Belt and the Greater Toronto region. region. Yes, it says high pressure comes into place for Friday, but don't be fooled because we've got these northwesterly winds setting up. So those traditional lake effect bands will be there again for parts like Kincardine over towards London, Grand Bend, and then for areas like Collingwood, we will be seeing some snow for you tomorrow morning. Even Niagara tomorrow morning and afternoon could get a shot of snow while you're traveling. But this is round one. Don't want to confuse you. This happens tonight. Trace amount Hamilton to Toronto. That we're going to get the blowing and the drifting facing over towards Timmins. You're seeing the additional snowfall through the day, which could bring you about 5 to 10 centimeters as the day goes on. Central Quebec also dealing with some snow squalls in areas around Highway 117. So that will be for the afternoon for you. And this morning in the north, Marathon's -4, feeling closer to -10. As we look to Quebec this afternoon, Montreal's -8. You will see some snow moving into Montreal and Quebec City, about 5 centimeters through the evening and overnight. And this is the extreme cold warning in place for central Quebec. And then this is the snow squall watch that does extend to Timmins, Kirkland Lake, as I mentioned. So that's on the horizon for this afternoon along the cold front. Stay safe. Big morning for you here at the Weather Network. Canada, we're watching some watches and warnings across the country, Chris.
Yep, we'll give you today's snowfall forecast as well. Who's going to get what and how much?
And Mike and Mark's adventure continues. Before today we go to them, let's look at temperatures in the north. Marathon's -4, Kapuskasing -7, and Thunder Bay, where we find them, is -5.
-5. 2 mornings ago it was -32. So joining us now is Mark Robinson and Mike Arsenault. And Mike, just so you know, they do sell razors in Thunder Bay.
Chris, thank you for noticing my beard growth. Well, if I can't actually be winter weather tough, I'm sure going to look like it. So that's why I'm growing the beard on this trip.
A little bit, Mike. So we're doing a little better than you. I think he's actually wearing that beard, maybe growing it to keep himself warm.
Good idea. By the way, it'll get back to wind chills of -30 tonight in Thunder Bay. So there's the snow that Mark was talking about along Highway 17. I do want to mention Highway 11 is still closed between Nipigon and Geraldton, both directions. So keep that in mind.
About 5 to 10 centimeters to go. And Quebec also Highway 17 for you, 117 rather, into the afternoon. We'll see some snow squalls along the same cold front. And in Ontario, that then swings south by the evening and overnight. Trace amount for the Greater Toronto region towards Kingston. But then the lake effect squalls set up for tomorrow morning, the traditional areas with northwest winds.
They could impact Barrie, even down to the northern GTA and perhaps around the Kincardine, London area. We're watching that. And yesterday, Jean Lesage Airport reached an all-time low. -36.7 degrees.
So for Friday afternoon, we're going to see rain moving into Halifax. Not too bad at 2 degrees, but -13 in Ottawa, that's a different story. -19 in Winnipeg. And for Calgary, a messy mix moving through for Friday. Want to get away from it all? How about Bahamas? Nassau getting up to 27 degrees on Friday. We will see some variable clouds. Over towards Miami, seeing a mix of sun and cloud. The daytime high there for Friday, 23, and Freeport getting up to 26. Good morning. Let's highlight the top stories we're following here in Canada. Glad you could join us. I'm meteorologist Nicole Karkic. For you in Atlantic Canada, we have a blowing snow advisory for the southern Avalon this afternoon. Gusts up to 80 kilometers an hour and up to 5 centimeters of snow for St. John's region. Could be a bit more through to Friday morning. And for southern Ontario, snow moving through the Greater Toronto region, Cottage Country, eventually Ottawa, as well as Montreal. And for BC, rain moving into the lower mainland. Could see up to 40 millimeters for places like Vancouver. No rain or snow yet in the Greater Toronto region, but it's certainly cold this morning, especially with the wind chills, and Kasia can attest to that. She's outside. Okay, thanks, Kasia. And so far, the city of Toronto has issued 6 cold weather alerts for this season. Last year, throughout the winter season, there were 36 cold weather alerts. As we look at the snowfall moving into Friday, trace amounts, generally speaking here, London, Hamilton, over towards Kingston, a bit more north of Parry Sound. And as the system makes its way through, we're going to see places like Wawa, Timmins, Kapuskasing getting hit with snow squalls along the cold front. And then through the evening and overnight, there it is, swinging south towards Toronto, Ottawa, Montreal getting hit. And then for Friday morning, lake effect snow will set up with northwesterly winds. So that's going to put you in the line of fire through the Bruce Peninsula, Kincardine, Grand Bend, over towards London, and also areas like Collingwood. Now this week we've been following Mike and Mark on their amazing adventure across the country. They started in Calgary. Today they're in Thunder Bay. And last year, boys, it was -25.5 on this day in Thunder Bay. So I think you're doing pretty well.
but it's going to be an interesting drive. Mike's actually doing some work. Back inside to you guys.
Nice to finally see Mike doing a little work there. Get to it, Mark. As we look at this Friday, we're going to see about 5 to 10 centimeters caps casing over towards Thunder Bay. Just a few flurries for you today. And in Quebec, a snow squall watch in place for you.